Boy, this was a tough assignment, and I had to come.
This was tougher than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, because I was like at 20, and I'm like, how am I gonna, and that was just being very generous with like, you could easily have doubled that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't even know if I agree with my own list, but here it is. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, let me give you guys an update on things as far as our calendar. I mean, fucking wild card, man.
Wow.
We are booked all the way through April 24th.
Wow.
And then we're booking
like
into
2 interviews every weekend.
Plus we're booking into May right now. And he said he's just getting started. He asked me for all the dates. I thought he was kidding me. I gave him all the dates. I wouldn't surprise me if he could finish it up the whole year.
Holy.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know he had that many connections. Jeez Louise, man.
This fucking guy knows everybody, man.
I had no idea he knew.
I didn't know either. So it's just like, this is just like blowing right up.
Wow, that's crazy.
I know, right? It's just like, yeah, it's just ridiculous, man. We are booked solid for 2 months, man.
Jeez Louise.
I know, man. He's killing it. 3 months. We're booked 3 months.
That's crazy.
I know.
Wow. I had no idea he had so many connections.
Yeah, we have solid shows. The first opening we have right now is May 8th at 4:00.
May 8th.
Right. I know. Wild card, bitches.
Hey man, this is Trevor William Church of Haunt and Beastmaker, and you're watching Heavy Metal Horror. Thank you.
I am Montag, master of illusion. What goes up must come down, but not always.
Hey, this is Chop Top. Stay heavy.
And dread.
And you are watching and listening to Heavy Metal Horror. Oh, kiddies, we've got a good show tonight. We've put ourselves through the ringer on this one. We're giving ourselves an impossible task. No joy in Mudville tonight, because we have decided to take on the unenviable task of doing the top 10 vocalists of all time. Any genre, okay? Not just metal. We're metal guys, but we are also pretty diverse in our own other musical tastes. It's not the only thing we listen to. And to come up with a top 10 list, it was difficult. It was that's saying the least, I think. Did you guys also find this quite a bit challenging?
Yeah, I kind of regret even coming up with the assignment now, because I'm like, I could at least add 30 to 50. I mean, it was so difficult to chop this down to 10.
I self-imposed metal vocalists just to narrow the field.
Okay.
So all my 10 are metal vocalists.
That's not the assignment there, Dreadbull.
I do what I want.
You get a D for not doing it right. D.
I do what I want.
For Dreadbull.
That's right. Didn't follow the assignment. D.
All right. I'll just steal one of yours then.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's start with number 10, Chop Top. Who's your number 10?
Number 10, I chose Bob Seger. Surprising. It holds a lot of, it's very personally meaningful to me. Seger was always playing around the house when I was younger. Mom and Dad had him playing, and just the soul in his voice, and just songs, beyond, what everybody knows, the old time rock and roll. But he has such a vast catalog and such meaningful, deep lyrics.
Yeah.
That for me, it's just it's personally just I'm a Seger fan from way back. So Bob Seger, number 10.
Nice.
Sweat pulls out your body. Oh, hold on, that's James Hetfield. Sorry.
I go rock.
Yeah. Great pick, Bob Seger. I love that dude.
Yeah,
love that guy.
Good music, man.
Yeah,
all right, Dreadbolt, number 10.
Okay, this one's kind of weird. I'll give you that.
We would
It's
expect
probably
nothing less.
a bit unexpected, but this is in the this is in the hair metal category. I'm
Oh,
going with a little throwback, Sebastian Bach.
Oh,
I think this dude
Really?
is freaking.
I almost
In his heyday, Sebastian Bach was phenomenal singer.
wailed.
Yeah, I mean, he had all the elements. He had this incredible range. I loved his style. You know, his ability to sustain these crazy long high notes. You know, he had a power and a smoothness to his vocals that were kind of unique. I just wish Skid Row could have kept it together and put more music out. You know,
how many
they're
albums
just,
did they do? Like 3?
yeah, I mean, something like
They
that.
did
I don't
3 with
know,
the
3.
original lineup, and then they went on with different vocalists for a bunch of it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Okay.
never the same.
I think I saw them sometime. It opened for somebody else.
I saw
Yeah, like,
Sebastian Bach
maybe
years
they
ago
open-
at Toledo Harley-Davidson, and he put on a hell of a show. And he was just a solo band. It was great.
Huh.
Yeah, they're like his vocals on "Slave to the Grind" are just phenomenal. I just his career was too short, man. I wish he had a bigger catalog of stuff and would have sustained himself longer.
Okay. Well, that's
There you
good.
go.
That's a good pick there.
Thank
Good
you.
pick there,
Thank you.
Dread.
Yeah.
My number 10, Steve Perry.
I thought about
Yeah,
this one.
yeah,
I
I
thought
mean,
about this one.
You know, and I guess this is a good time as any to really kind of talk about what makes a great vocalist. I guess we should have prefaced some of those ideas. And what I imagine for vocalists, it's not someone who has a great range, but someone who, through their singing, ties themselves inextricably to a band or song or movement and era. You know, you cannot separate the vocals from the music in a way. And there's emotion there. They can move me emotionally in a way, because someone who can sing notes doesn't necessarily move me passionately. And like, fuck, I didn't. There was someone I'm going to add right now as a 4th honorable mention, because I know none of us are going to include this person. So that's how I'm defining it. And so for me, Steve Perry, the new singer is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. This guy is amazing. And the band sounds great. But when you look back at classic Journey, Steve Perry's vocals coming in, you cannot tell me that his range is beautiful. The voice is powerful. It could be delicate and soft, but you can't have Journey really without Steve Perry. And so for me, that's my first pick.
Yeah,
Fantastic pick.
great pick. That was
And
one that I was
along those
considering. Oh, I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
No, I was going to say, Dred, along those lines, I mean, obviously you talk about being moved, and Steve Perry, yeah, he has a voice that can move you. I mean, get you goosebumps all over. And yeah, even as a man saying that, so to me, that's incredible, because obviously they're known for, all the ladies are crazy about him, everything. But no, when you can do that as a vocalist and you can still move you, get that goosebump feeling.
Yeah.
Hands down, he's tremendous.
Yeah, you talk about criteria and what we're looking for in vocalists. It's that emotional component above all. Not above all for me, but the range and all that is great. But the ability to convey the emotion of the song and sort of it's almost like an acting performance in a lot of ways. So can move you emotionally and give you the goosebumps and stuff. That's and really perform the song rather than just sing it.
Right.
That makes all the difference.
Yeah, you put on lights. I mean, come on. It's a beauty. It's a beautiful song. And that's because of his vocal styling, So all right, number 9, Shop.
Number 9, Ray Alder, vocalist for Fate's Warning, sang with Redemption, has his own, his own solo album, What the Water Wants, which I highly, highly recommend. Of course, I have it. But
what? Here's my surprise face. What?
No, you?
Yeah.
No, guys, I just think he changed the face of Fate's Warning for the better when he came in. I mean, I do like John Arch. I love the earlier stuff as well, especially Awaken the Guardian, which is classic. But Ray just took that band with his voice and what he could do with it in other levels, especially how they progressed through the music and stuff. And he can go from the quietest stuff to just, belting stuff, high pitched stuff to his range is incredible, and he's also one that gives you the goosebump feelings on a lot of the Fates Warning tracks. So
He's the
Ray
one
Alder,
on FWX, right? Is that
yeah,
is that
yep.
him? Yes. Oh yeah, that's
Oh, man.
like love that album.
Oh
Yes.
man, I got to go back to that stuff now that you mentioned that. I
Mhm.
kind of forgot about him, but gosh, no.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
See, this is what's
Uh-huh.
great about it. It's like
Great.
this is why I want a Bloodletter.
I got to jot this down.
because she has a whole other musical taste. I'm like, oh, Bloodletter, come on the
Yeah.
show. We want it. And she thought it was all metal. I'm like, no, read the prompt. It's all genres. Come on, man. But yeah, she was unable to join us today. So good pick,
Ray
Shop
Alder,
Top.
number 9, guys.
Great
Thanks, guys.
pick. Great pick. All right, Dreadbull, number 9.
Okay, this is a guy that I think I believe you guys probably have not even heard of. This is a guy by the name of Damian Wilson. So I first heard this guy as a guest singer on some Arion albums, and his voice just blew me away. Like, so he's kind of a vocal mercenary. He's appeared on over 70 separate albums
Wow.
in his career. He's got a couple bands that he's sung for, Headspace, Threshold. Those are 2 different bands.
Heard of Threshold. Yeah.
He's he's done stuff with After Forever. That was Floor Jansen's old band, a band called Landmark. I mean, appearances everywhere. He's done a lot of different things for on Arion, but there's a tone to his voice and it's super clean. He's just got one of those voices that is really, really pristine. It almost sounds like a woodwind instrument or something when he sings.
Oh,
It's so
wow.
clean. Probably the most pristine vocals that I've ever heard out of a vocalist. There's just
Wow.
a tone and a clean quality to his stuff that is fantastic. And this guy, yeah, really jumped out. And like Arion does, he might have a dozen vocalists on an album,
Mhm.
playing different parts and stuff. And man, his vocals jump out every time I hear him. So
Oh, I'm
as
gonna
I was
check him
going
out.
back, kind of looking at my stuff, yeah, I'm Damian Wilson. Really awesome dude.
I've got to listen to some Arion after we talked about, like, when we did our album covers and you'd mentioned them. It's
Yeah.
like, that's a band I've never listened to. And so I've got to check
Incredible
them
stuff.
out.
And I
Yeah.
noticed the charismatic voice just interviewed Arjun Lucasen,
Ah.
who is Arion. He does everything. He's kind of
Oh, nice.
he writes everything himself and composes and produces. He is Arion. So
Well, one day
cool.
we'll be on her show, or she'll come on ours, right? That'd be nice. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I forgot to mention, we gotta the next show we gotta give a shout out to Doug, Doug Helvering, because he
Oh.
gave a shout out to us. So I want to return the favor.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll have to put it in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
And just to say thanks, because he's been super supportive of us and just a good guy, and it's just fun to have him
Yep.
on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. All right.
Sorry, I missed that show, that last one.
Yeah, it was good. That was good.
I
A year
missed
in
it.
review. Yeah, it was just a nice discussion, man. It was good.
Mhm.
All right, my number 9. This is one you were both going to know. This is one I think at least Dreadbull and I have grown up listening to. I know I did from my earliest memories of hearing this voice from like age 4 on. Cannot separate this voice from the band. John Fogerty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
CCR, man.
CCR.
Oh God.
Love this band. It's one of my favorite rock and roll bands of all time. Certainly one of my favorite
Mhm.
American rock and roll bands.
Agreed.
And Fogerty's ability to convey emotion, and he's got this kind of wailing quality about his voice, and kind of there's this rawness to his voice, and that really kind of comes across in like the heavier songs, like we'll cut this out. In songs like Fortunate Son, you really hear that kind of wailing sound. And you get this songs like Born on the Bayou, where he just has that. And then he could really belt it out like on American or Traveling Band, So I grew up hearing his voice and just cannot, he's just foundational to my whole life. And I love CCR. I will listen to CCR till the day I die. And that's great part because of Fogerty's voice.
Well,
Yeah.
I think along with obviously not only the fantastic voice, but he had the pulse on everything that was going on in America. I mean, you read the lyrics and stuff. He was right. He knew what he was writing about, and everything that was going on from Vietnam to social climate to anything. And so yeah, Fogerty, that's a fantastic choice. Gosh, yeah, CCR, man, I listen to them too, still to this day.
Yeah, I'm the same. My parents, big CCR fans. They played a lot of it when I was a kid. And, yeah, you can never get tired of that stuff.
Mm-mm.
And one of the more unique bands, man. They carved out their own little niche, their own sound.
Man,
yeah, great stuff.
Great choice. Great
Yeah,
choice.
thanks. All right, Chop Top number
8.
This would probably surprise you. That's probably not higher because I have, again, we're going across all genres. So, but Jeff Tate is number 8.
Mhm.
I have to include Jeff Tate in there.
Yeah.
A revolutionary when he came on the scene. Those first 4 or 5 Queensryche albums, knocks it out of the park. And even he does stuff now in his Sweet Oblivion project. I highly recommend you guys check him out in Sweet Oblivion from the Frontiers Records label. It's almost like what Queensryche could have or should have sounded like if Jeff would have remained with them. Like going off from Promised Land forward.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but I highly recommend. They got 2 releases out. They're pretty darn good. But yeah, Jeff Tate, again, you can't say enough. I mean, he blew people's minds when he first came on the scene, that first EP and then The Warning. We talked ad nauseum about him before in previous shows and stuff, but yeah, you got to give props to Jeff Tate.
Certainly. Right.
Yeah, he is far higher on my list. So I'll say more about Jeff later on.
Yes. Spoiler alert, he's on mine too.
I do agree.
Shocking.
Oh, there we go. We got one on our list right there.
Right.
What?
Yeah, he's right up there. Yeah, I can't agree more. Chop Top. Yes, as we'll talk about when we get to him on our list. Yes, we totally agree. That's an amazing pick. You can't ignore his contribution. And right, exactly. Excellent pick, Chop Top. Dreadbull, you're number 8.
Okay. Oh, I'm glad you brought up Jeff Tate because this guy is kind of similar. That's a good segue because this former singer for Camelot, band that I really love, Roy Khan. This guy, fantastic singer. He's another one of those guys. He's in a lot of ways reminds me of Jeff Tate. Maybe not with the real high-end soaring vocals, but the emotional component, the way he approaches music, the way he sings it, he just pours his heart and his passion into the music. He left the band a number of years ago, I think, for some personal health problems. Unfortunately, I really miss that guy. But yeah, even some of his mannerisms when he sings are similar to Jeff Tate. So I have no doubt that Tate was probably a big influence on him. But yeah, he's one of those singers that he's acting out the parts as he sings them. And great live. I've seen him live a couple times in Cleveland. Small venues like Peabody's, like them and Epica.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great show. But
Those are great venues. I mean,
Yeah.
fantastic venues.
Yeah.
Go see bands in,
Mhm.
Yeah. Just
But yeah, Roy Khan, great singer.
all right. Excellent.
Cool pick, man. Yeah.
Yeah, good. My number 8, you're probably going to chastise me for putting him down this low, just because there's just so many good singers. But Bruce Dickinson.
Oh bullshit! Come on!
You are no longer head
The
of
man is a
management.
legend.
I know.
How can
I
we
know.
close you out?
We are holding a
You're
hostage
I had to put him
takeover
somewhere.
right now.
You know.
leaving the chat.
Mhm.
You're leaving. Kick this guy
Yeah.
out of here.
I'm done. We're
You
taking
son of a
over.
bitch.
You're not the producer anymore, you cunt.
Wow.
I know. I struggle because again, it has nothing to do with the amount of love I have for Bruce and for his music. It's just like I'm looking at my list like, oh, and every one of these is like it's a liquid list, and every one of these is like, oh boy. And on a given day, these things are gonna flip flop all over the place.
And that liquid is piss on your list. Piss.
You can't piss on hospitality.
Bruce isn't a top 5. You're doing it wrong.
You're fired.
Just look, I freed up another 20 hours a week. yeah. I knew it was coming. I'm like, oh, okay, because then the ones above it, you're going to go, oh, you picked this person over Bruce?
Uh-huh.
You know, exactly. Right. You're going to say, everybody, it's not that that there's better.
Well, you know, he's higher on my list, but I'll tell you right now, he's not in the top 3, which is going to surprise you guys because I'm a Maidenhead, you know. Like,
yeah, and it's not that I'm not a fan.
I'm doing this show by myself.
I was looking at all the qualities and looking at the emotional connection. Bruce's pipes are unparalleled. The way he can sing. I think there are other singers who have moved me more emotionally. Maiden's music moves me. But I think as a vocalist, he's perfect. As a frontman, he's perfect. The energy he exudes, I've got nothing wrong to say about Bruce. It came down to, are there singers who have moved me more emotionally at times?
I get you.
Than Bruce. I'm like, yeah, there have, and it's only that is why there are others who are above him in this list. You know, I'll probably have to cut all this out. More work for Mark. Mark never always gets it in the ass. Yeah. So there's my controversial number 8 pick.
Ooh, boy.
I know. Wow. I'm gonna get razzed no matter what I do. I knew. All right, Chop Top. Let's go with number 7.
Kicking.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7 for me, the immortal Lane Staley, Allison Ching.
Ah,
Talk about a
he
vocalist that can
was on
move
my
you.
big list.
yeah, it's on the big list.
Talk about a vocalist that can move you emotionally, at least for me. The dark subject matter, of course, a lot having to deal with drug addiction and things he was coping with, but he just hit a nerve with me like no other. And I think that for me, Allison Ching was the top band out of the 90s. I mean, for me, period.
Yeah.
I mean, because they always said you had the STP, you had Soundgarden, you had Allison Chains. For me, it was always Allison Chains. That voice just transcends.
Oh yeah, head and
course,
shoulders above.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did the one album with Mad Season, some of the members of Pearl Jam as well, which is highly recommended. It's excellent.
Do you have it? Do you have it?
I used to have it on tape, but I got a burnt CD of it now, so
Okay.
I'll have to go back and look at Amazon, see if they got it cheap so I can order that, get that one there. Because I don't have enough already, right?
Right.
But yeah, guys, truly check out the Mad Season project, and you have to put Lane. I couldn't leave him out of this list for me personally.
Yeah, he was on my early list. I didn't even know about the Mad Season. I'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Again, Dirt. We've talked about them. Dirt, is one of the best albums of all time, I think. And the music's phenomenal, but it's his aching vocals that just scream that angst and sadness and sorrow and loss and all those things that come through. And he's a crazy good emotive singer.
And one of those guys that is unique. He came along and kind of carved out his own little style and little niche, and it worked so well with the music. Oh yeah.
And then you got then on top of that, you had the harmonizing vocals with him and Jerry Cantrell, which was just bar none. They set the bar there.
Yeah,
with that kind of harmonizing.
Yeah,
great harmonies together, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, because you hear it and you don't realize how much Jerry Cantrell was part of that sound of that band. Until you see him, until you hear him sing, like, oh, okay. I remember when we saw Slayer, he opened up for Slayer and the God Hates Us All tour. Jerry Cantrell and In Flames. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he's
okay.
quite an accomplishment.
Great pick.
Yeah. Number 7, Dreadbull.
All right, we're going heavy with this, and I think one of you guys, maybe it's Chop Top, doesn't care for this dude, but I am. Let me know. Somebody was disparaging him a while back.
Oh, I'll let you know.
How about Phil Anselmo, Pantera?
Oh no.
Okay,
that would be me.
Oh,
I just don't like Pantera. I don't like their sound.
Gotcha.
That's all. I remember you listening to Cowboys from Hell, and it's like they were just a quality, the austereness of the guitar, everything. I didn't really.
That's not my favorite album from them.
Not really into the screamy kind of like angry, screamy stuff. It's just you liked a lot more than I did. It's like it's just not my thing.
Yeah, I love Phil. I think in his heyday, he was kind of a force of nature. Like he brought such a powerful, raw power to Pantera. Like he matched another vocalist that matched the style of the music really well. And
well, and even at time, Dread. I mean, his with Phil Anselmo. I mean, his voice was so much raw power. And I think he
Yeah.
actually ended up doing worse for himself as time went on with his other projects, Super Joint Ritual, Down and stuff. And it just kind of, it declined over time. But those 4 albums or whatever in that period.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm a-
don't think
I'm-
it
I'm a
was.
fan.
Yeah, I don't think that singing like that is sustainable long term.
No.
I think he just killed himself. But man, because I mean, we saw him at Ozfest one year in
Mhm.
at Blossom. Saw
I was
them
probably
live.
at that one
Remember who went?
myself. Was that the one where he invited everybody up from the back of the the lawn seats up to the stage? They had like they bull rushed it.
Oh,
They knocked over security and
no, I don't
Oh,
think
it was
so.
like-
I don't
I'm
think
standing-
I don't think it was
I'm
that
standing
one.
by one of the columns, and I'm just like this with a buddy. I'm like, I ain't going out there. I seen security going down. One person broke their arm, and he just
Wow.
invited them all up there, caused a whole stir. It was
Oh wow, yeah. I don't. This must have been a different
okay.
different year for Ozfest. I don't remember.
Yeah,
that.
they played a lot on Ozfest though. So yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, even the live performance at Ozfest, man, he would just pour every bit of energy into these screams and stuff. Like, oh my God, he's gonna kill himself
Yeah.
for
Right.
sure. Doing it like that. But
Gonna
man,
blow a
he
gnat or
put-
something,
He put
you
every
know?
bit of energy he could into his live performances, which I appreciate watching it live. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think I think the tendency is you get all that adrenaline. It's hard to probably
Yeah.
hold back.
Mhm.
When you're playing that and you're in that moment and that aggression, it's hard to hold back. I think,
Yeah.
trained singers have to do that so they can save their voice. Cause
Yeah.
if you're going on a 100-day tour, you can't do that every night. You just really
Yeah.
can't, you
No.
gotta have some downtime and you gotta find a way to save your voice.
And he
for
comes
some-
across as a guy that's he's just doing his thing. I don't know how much professional training he got. Maybe there were techniques he could have employed that would have saved his voice a little bit. I have no idea,
Yeah.
but just there was a raw quality to his singing, and he just threw it all in there and just
Yeah.
let it rip.
Mhm.
He was a
Don't worry
force to be
about
reckoned with at
tomorrow.
his time. Yeah,
Yeah.
good choice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, here's my a controversial pick. I think for between the two of you, I'm gonna get razzed
Oh,
no matter what.
another
I know.
one.
Again?
We're still getting over
Glutton
Bruce
for
Dickinson
punishment.
pick. Come on.
Yeah, you're lining up to shoot me. You're gonna hit me in the back. You're gonna kick me in the nuts when I'm not looking.
Oh boy. Here's
mine-
another guest we're not going to get. Here we
Drum
go.
roll, please. Drum
No,
roll.
my number 7 is Annie Lennox from the Eurythmics,
Oh,
and a crazy
okay.
great solo career.
Yeah.
I think she has a haunting, beautiful voice that
Yeah.
also can be edgy. Like when you hear "Would I Lie to You" by the Eurythmics. I mean, she's got that kind of ability to kind of get this growly rock and roll voice. But again, she pairs it with this beautiful, like when you hear "Here Comes the Rain Again" or her solo stuff.
Yeah.
It's just she has this range that she can play, which is fantastic. But then there's this raw emotion in her voice, and that's what it comes down to. It's like, okay, yeah, Annie Lennox is a beautiful, haunting voice that consistently, since I first heard Eurythmics, like God, almost 40 years ago, Jesus Christ, that I thought, okay. And then following her career since then, I'm not a crazy fan of everything she's done musically, but her voice still moves me, and I find it to be just an amazing voice overall.
Yeah. See, this is one of the reasons I kind of pared things down to more into the metal area, because there's too
Mhm.
many to choose from when you get into, vocalists like that.
Well,
man,
I
like,
know.
where do you put them on a list?
No,
Like,
Montag,
exactly.
I think that's a fantastic choice. I
Yeah.
really like some Eurythmics.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You're right. There's an
She is amazing.
etherealism to her voice.
Mhm.
And like you said, "Would I Lie to You," there's that grit. She has that ability to get
Yeah.
that rock styling kind of grit down, and it portrays in the song. It helps the song move even that
It
much
does.
more. She has, and
Yeah.
that was a
And
great
she's got a
choice.
great range as well,
Yeah.
and her voice sounds as good today as it did then, which
Yeah.
is quite amazing, because even on our newer music, I really can't hear any kind of degradation or any choice. So Ms. Lennox, if you're out there, we'd love to have you come on the show, please.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So
A
there's
legend.
number 7, Annie Lennox.
Nice.
Excellent.
All right.
All right. Okay, Chop.
Mhm.
Number 6.
Number 6, My Witchy Woman sends me all the time.
Oh,
Stevie
wow.
Nicks, man. Stevie Nicks.
Damn. See,
Um,
there's another one.
Stand
Uh,
back, stand back.
Yeah,
Right.
I love her solo work. I love, of course, the Fleetwood Mac stuff. He put on
Mhm.
Rumors during a bad track on the whole album.
Yeah.
Which is amazing they even got through that album because all the conflict going on. But yeah, I mean, and then let's talk about her duets. Leather and Lace with Don Henley.
Mhm.
Stop Dragging My Heart Around with with Tom Petty, which is just one of the all-time best duets in rock and roll history. She sends me, man. She always has. It's just, she moves me. I get emotional. I get goosebumps from her. And not to mention, she was hot in the day, too. And she still looks good. She's in her 70s, I believe. So,
I remember in the 80s watching some of her videos very closely.
Yes, I did too. I wasn't standing, Miss Nix, I wasn't standing back at that time.
I was sitting down, right.
I was crossing my legs and putting a pillow over my lap. Thank you.
Yeah, there was something about her vocals with that band, that music. There was this mystical quality about it all.
Yeah,
it was magical, man. And she was incredible.
As soon as you say that, the first song that comes to me is Rhiannon.
Yes,
and
exactly.
it's just such. I mean, the music is haunting. I'm not a huge Fleetwood Mac song. They've got some great songs. I'm just not a Fleetwood Mac fan. I like a lot of their music. I wouldn't call myself a fan, but her voice and her vocals and on her solo stuff, just beautiful. I'm a big fan of hers, and her appearances on American Horror Story have been great. So she was
in Coven, wasn't she?
Yes,
she was one of the She was playing the piano and stuff. Rhiannon, I think, on that. Yeah.
Okay, so that was number 6 for Chop.
Number 6.
Fred, you're number 6.
Okay, well, this is good. I'm going to stick with the female vocalist theme, but I'm bringing it back to metal. This is heavy metal horror, after all. So we are going with none other than Tatiana. Ginger, Tatiana.
Yeah, she was
got to make the list.
Yeah, she was on my honorable mention because she was on a short list. I'm like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah, she's great. And
she's got it all.
Got a great voice too. Yeah,
her mix of death metal and clean vocals, her ability to transition between the two is absolutely second to none. I mean,
really quickly too. Yeah, she does that.
Yeah,
it's just very smooth from death to clean, clean to death. Yeah, it's flawless.
It is,
especially when you're listening to songs like Perennial, the live version.
Yeah,
when she just goes from that death to clean and instantly.
And live, she's every bit as good live. There is no drop off in her death metal power.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, she can be a demonic succubus 1 second and Gwen Stefani the next second,
and I like
transition seamlessly. Yeah,
right.
And they're both great, and she sounds, to be able to do both at the level that she does both is fantastic.
Yeah.
Her stage presence is phenomenal. Like, she really has a presence on stage.
Yeah, she owns the crowd. That's for sure.
She's a
great,
sexy badass
front.
Man.
She really is, and she'll kick your ass, and you'll like it. And you can hear that vocal range. The two songs that stand out to me where she really shines, not just in her death metal, but her clean vocals, are Pisces toward the end when she hits those super high notes, and she's just really belting it out. And then you also hear that on I Speak Astronomy, at the end, where that wailing, it sounds very much like Geddy Lee from 2112, toward the end of 2112.
You're right.
When I heard that, I'm like, oh my God, that's the end of 2112. And she's just belting out. It's just such an emotional note for her, and those notes. So yeah, it was hard to not include her on my top 10 as well, because
and I think 10% of all YouTube traffic is reaction videos to Pisces. I mean, that's a whole phenomenon. I think that's really what put them on the map. They gained a lot of popularity just from reaction videos to that one song.
Yeah.
No one was so good. Yeah. It's
right. And they weren't expecting it, because she comes off. I mean, she's, just everyone says, oh, she's very beautiful. I'm like, she's gorgeous. And then she's got this pretty voice. I'm like, yeah, it's really pretty. And like, oh, I heard this was a metal band. I'm not hearing it. Then she brings out this, and they're like, what?
Is that real? That can't be real.
Exactly.
When you get that first death metal note, you're like,
exactly. Yeah. So,
and her technique, her death metal growls are just, nobody, particularly no female vocalist can do it like that I've heard.
I agree.
The woman, the singer for Arch Enemy, is close in that.
She's good.
She's good, but Tatiana, I think,
sounds like more strained. Like she's working harder to get there. Tatiana just is there. She doesn't work as hard to get there, and maybe it's a technique thing. But my God,
Oh, I agree. It's flawless. Yeah. So, Miss Schmeilek, if you're out there. Like they have. I know we tried to get you once, and you were busy on tour, but we'd like to have you on. We're booking up pretty fast this year, so just let you know.
You're on my top 10 list
That's right. Yeah, right.
of all time.
That's
Of all
right.
time.
Exactly. Come on, you
God's
gotta want
sake.
to talk to Dreadbull.
Come on,
God's sake.
We're gonna be on your top 10 podcast list of all time. Look at us. How could we not?
How could you resist
Or
all of this?
Look at
at
that.
us, just
Look
look
what
at
you're-
us, okay?
Yeah, look what you're getting.
For free.
Look, I've got a candle. Come on.
This guy's a saint.
Yo, we're not
Yes.
even charging $1 a month for Patreon shit. Come on now.
Exactly. Not yet.
Not yet.
We will be. Well, I'm going to continue for my number 6. I'm going to continue the strong female lead singer with an amazing range, and also has this ability to give you goosebumps, and her voice is ethereal and haunting.
I told you Mariah Carey is not part of this.
Hey, I got a top 5
Pretty
coming,
sad.
so don't blow my wad here.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Number 6 for me is Amy Lee.
Ooh,
Evanescence
Wow.
is a great band.
put her above Bruce. Wow, holy shit.
We are talking emotion. Did you not hear me before, Dreadbull? Do my words not reach your ears, you son of a bitch?
Not
You
for
still
many
have
years.
Bruce at number 8. Still
Not
have
for at
Bruce
least
number 8.
30 years.
That's right. Are you talking? What? Yeah. I'm just not getting the eye roll that I normally get. Like, oh God, it's talking again. Is it
That
still
range
talking?
That range does
It
not
rubs the
register.
lotion on its skin. Right? Yeah, Amy Lee's voice, again, as I said, haunting, ethereal. It moves me emotionally when you listen to the Open Door, and it's also incredibly powerful. You
Mhm.
put in that first track for the Open Door, and it just belts. And that was the thing I was impressed, because I remember when Kim got the CD for me, Open Door, and I'd heard of them but not listened to their music, and so I listened to it. I'm like, oh wow, okay. I never would have picked it on my own, but I'm so glad that she got it for me, and so I've just been a fan of hers and their music, and Ms. Lee, if you're out there, we'd like to talk to you.
You're better than Bruce Dickinson on his list, so
I'm
you
not
know.
saying better.
You know.
I'm not saying better. It all came down to
man.
raw emotion for me, man.
It's okay. We've heard the excuses, Montag.
Raw something.
I smell something familiar. I think Montag's opening his mouth. I smell shit. Is Montag talking again? Because I think I'm in a pasture. Yeah, I get it.
Murray's sausage stand.
There's my
Oh,
number
yeah.
6.
Great
Okay.
choice. Great choice. So,
Mm.
okay. We're in the top 5 now, right?
Top
Top
5.
5.
Yeah,
Here we go.
exactly.
Number 5, Rob Halford. I had to put the Metal God in there somewhere.
Metal God's got to
Granted,
be there.
obviously, I mean, their last album, Priest Firepower, was just as good as anything from Screaming for Vengeance and Defenders of the Faith. So I highly recommend that. And, not only to talk about that, but the Fight project he had, especially that first album, War of Words, was fantastic. And then his solo stuff too. I mean, what a storied career. What more can you say about the Metal God? I remember seeing him at a concert. It was a turbo tour. It was my first concert, actually. And it was with Dokken opened up. And I remember Halford blew the PA system like 6 times with his voice during that show. Just with his voice alone. It was incredible. It was like crackling and everything in and out. And we got a little intermission here because Rob blew it again. But yeah, I mean, what can you say more about Rob Halford? And still going strong in his 70s. And he is a huge metalhead and metal fan. I guess all his stuff he listens to is just metal, even on his Facebook pages and everything else.
He's the
So,
Metal God.
Yeah,
Yep. So well deserved.
Expect nothing less.
that's a good pick, Chop.
Nice.
All right,
Yeah.
Dread, you're number 5. Unless you want to have more to talk about. You want to talk about Rob.
I'll say more. He's on my list as well, but a little further down there. So, okay, 5 for me. My final female vocalist on the list. My favorite female vocalist, Floor Jansen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge Nightwish fan.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of Floor Jansen since well before Nightwish, when she was with After Forever. So you're, going way back. I think I've been listening to her for 15 plus years. she's probably the most complete vocalist, maybe on this whole list. I mean, she can do any style. She's got range. She's got the technique. The emotional component is there in spades. She can do anything. This was when the original singer left for Nightwish. This is who I was hoping they would pick up at that time. But they went another direction. I don't know what happened. She did come on eventually, 2 albums later. She's done a couple albums now with Nightwish, which are fantastic. But she's my favorite female vocalist at the very least of all time. I love her stage presence live. Her live performances are every bit as good. Some of the cleanest live vocals I've ever heard, especially when it comes to metal. It's as good as she's got technique. She's a vocal coach as well, so she knows all the techniques, to bring that out vocally live. So they're basically studio quality when she's live. So
and she does. She also did with the band. Excuse me, She also did with that duet with Evergrey in Orbit, which is fantastic. I mean,
I have not seen that. Yeah, I've not heard that.
Check that out, Evergrey in Orbit, and it's like she's on stage with the singer and main guitar playing, right? But man, she wails on that with him. Great duet. So
yeah, she's amazing. So
That's a band I know little of. The Nightwish. I know you've loved them for a long time there, Dread.
Yeah.
And,
seen them in Cleveland a few times.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I have them on my list. Like I gotta listen to this band. I gotta check them out.
Yeah, check out Floor's stuff. Their last 2 albums, Endless Forms, Most Beautiful, and Human Nature. The last 2 with Floor.
What I've heard of them, it's very ethereal. The singing, and I gotta give it more. I don't want to base it off of 1 or 2 songs. You can't, it's not really fair of any.
No, for sure, and especially them. They have a lot of different styles.
It was operatic. It was very operatic and theatrical.
Their early stuff with Tarja was very operatic. She was definitely an opera singer.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'd heard.
Yeah, Floor is a little more between, she can mix it in. She can do some operatic, but a lot more more standard, clean vocals.
Okay.
She's more flexible with her.
Much more flexible.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. My number 5, I'm right there with Chop Top, Rob Halford. Definitely. And we talked about him, and there's nothing much more to say about him. His power, his range, going from like just Screaming for Vengeance and Painkiller to Diamonds and Rust, where you have that really emotive kinds of vocalings. What's there's other ones, especially on the earlier albums like Sad Wings of Destiny. You have a lot of these
Dream of Deceiver.
A lot more of these emotional songs, and his range is unbelievable. And so he just brings it. So yeah, there's my number 5.
Nice.
All right, number 4, Chop Top.
Number 4, I'm not going to make the mistake Montag made earlier. Mr. Bruce Dickinson. I have to have him. You got to have the air raid siren. I mean, come on. And not only that, it's just Bruce for me is there anything this guy, I think we talked about, can't do? I mean, he's done everything, and surviving cancer, fencing, piloting jets, just amazing. What an amazing life story of this man. A writer, spoken word tours. But coming from me, I mean, one of the biggest Maiden fans on earth, number 4, that's, I'm surprised it wasn't number 1, but like I said, if we stuck to pure metal, it would have been close. But because there's other, I think that move me more, I'm going to go off Montag's sing. It makes me more emotional. So even though mine's higher than his, but yeah.
If it was pure metal, he would be much higher.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, but
we're not cheating like Dreadbull. I don't want to pick other genres because it's too hard.
Yeah, we followed the assignment, motherfucker.
Yeah.
But we were heavy metal horror, you pussies.
Well, we've also done hair metal. We've also done, you picked hair metal band, Sebastian Bach.
Metal.
Well, we said this was all genre. We opened that door wide open.
Yep, we had it
wide fucking open, Dread.
You did that on your own. My suggestion was
when I put it up in the page, I said all genres, every genre. It's wide open.
Later.
I did not.
I'm not following
You're
your
just a
rules.
Chicken. You're just a
You're
chicken who
stupid rules.
yeah. I'm a rebel like Pee Wee Herman. Yeah, Donnie. I'm a rebel. I'm Dreadbull. I'm gonna rebel it up by picking only metal, and I'll just stick a finger right in Montag's ass. Bend over, Montag's proctologist is here.
Oh, yeah, what else can be said, guys? That's number 4, of course, Bruce. So.
Excellent. Number 4 for you there, Dread.
So yeah, this
Proctologist.
is the metal god for me. Is it 4?
Oh, okay, real close. So,
yeah, I mean Halford, he kind of came along and set a whole new standard, I think, for metal vocalists. I can't really think of anyone prior to him that kind of did things to the level that he started doing them, as far as just pure metal power. I mean, those sort of
great point.
Yeah. And I'm a fan of, but he was the first. There was nobody like him. There've been a number since, the Rippers, and we talked to Ralph Sheepers, very a similar vocal style, but and they're great in their own right. But you have to give the reverence to the original.
Yeah, they're not imitators. They're just they sing similarly. They have a similar range and power. And it's only because Rob Halford is so good that we hear those similarities in those other singers. That's all.
And honestly, so what if they are? If you can do that, if you can sing and sound like Rob Halford, why not? It's not like
right on.
I don't see.
I think as a musician, you probably want to do something that's more original, your own. But if you had that power, yes, I get it. That like it's like being a musician. If you can play guitar like Eddie Van Halen, you're going to play guitar just as good.
Yeah.
So you're not going to not do it just because you might sound similarly, but you're like, yeah, I'm gonna play. But yeah, I totally get it there, Dread.
Excellent.
All right, my number 4, Jeff Tate.
Yeah,
Only
4.
Bruce.
Only 4, no matter what I pick from now on.
You stupid son of a bitch. He's not my number. My number's better.
Yeah, we're not letting it go, Montag. But
I
go ahead.
know.
What a sorry list.
What the hell?
You guys are looping up my hate hole. That's for sure. Where's Wild
Everybody listening, ignore Montag's list. No.
Hey, we've talked about Jeff Tate. We're making Dreadbull. Don't choke. Stay alive. Stay alive.
Ooh, make him cough.
Yeah, that's right.
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, he's having
too much for
an
me.
episode.
I can have one pop a week. That's all I can do.
I got the real strong stuff, the diet Dr. Pepper. It's making me cough because of my age and my feeble swallowing ability. I can't handle my pop like in the young days when I was 40.
I need my hate hole lubed.
That's right. So yeah, we've talked about Jeff Tate. What more is there to say? I mean, he's just an amazing range. He hit that E5. He's still great, and hey, he has made some of the best music that we have ever listened to. So there's my number 4.
Yes, indeed.
Jeff Tate. We are in our top 3, gentlemen.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I know. I think I'm excited about giving you a couple of these choices because I know you're going to be like, what?
And yours is already wrong, Montag. So
that's right.
You've only used up 2 of them elsewhere.
That's right.
So
yeah,
really,
we're just calling Montag's shit list.
No wheels have fallen off.
Because he doesn't know shit.
I know shit because I stuck my finger in his ass.
Opinions can be wrong, and yours are.
All right.
All right, guys.
Number 3. Chop, what's your 3 number? Chop.
Ronnie James Dio. I gotta have RJD in there.
At 3?
Yep.
You rampaging son of a.
I just have 2 that move me that much more, and like I said, it's all genres. But if this was top metal, RJD would have been my number 1. So, you go from everything from Elf to Rainbow to solo stuff to Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. Anything he touched was gold. You go from a song like Rainbow Eyes that can just bring you to tears almost, to Man on a Silver Mountain, to Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules, all the things we've talked and we love about Ronnie so much. I mean, that is range, that's power. And I'll tell you, I've been lucky enough in my life at least to get to see him a couple times. And you can feel like how much he loved the fans. just from him. You didn't have to say a word. You just felt that. And I think that's a rare thing that you don't get from a lot of performers. But with Ronnie, it was genuine. You could always feel that. So yeah, RJD, the great one.
Yeah, I can't argue
Well,
with that.
I'm right there with you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're number
I
3.
was
Yeah,
going to
oh,
go ahead
ahead.
and jump in.
Yeah,
My
jump
number
in.
3 is
Yeah,
also
jump
Ronnie
in.
James Dio.
All right.
Yeah, this is 8 feet of power packed into a 5'4" frame. That's what I wrote down. I mean,
Right.
he is really. I mean, when you talk about legends, Ronnie is a legend.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, I don't know if there could be a metal fan on earth that doesn't like Ronnie James Dio.
Right.
And if they don't, they're wrong. You can be wrong. We've seen that already with Montag. You can be wrong. You would be wrong if you don't like Ronnie.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, I understand.
Dio's left. Yeah, he's left. You know, he's left his mark on everything that he's done. Everywhere he's gone, all we hear is great stories about Dio.
How nice
No
he
one
was.
has ever said anything bad about Ronnie James
No,
Dio.
just a
because-
good person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine if we started the show a decade ago and have the possibility of perhaps talking with
Oh
Dio?
my God.
I mean,
Can
we
you
would have just
imagine
been
that?
sobbing our eyes out and crying.
Probably.
know. Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Stop
Just
and,
shaking and trembling, like, you know that song you sang? It's really good. You know, I can, yeah,
Just say something. Say something, please.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Exactly.
Mr. RJD, I do have a question. Why did the Last in Line cover look like Murray's sausage shack?
Why is everybody marching into his crotch?
Yeah.
Can you please
Is that
explain
now
that?
or is that Murray's crotch?
Yeah,
I've always wanted to ask.
the last in loin. Right.
Oh, great.
Yeah, exactly.
We're the last in line.
That's right.
Walk
Uh,
through his groin. We're the last in. We're the
We
last
cock. We cock. No, that's Vic. That's Vic. We cock.
Me. But he's got big dick energy.
Vic Stone, you rock.
Oh, RJD, man.
Number 3 for
RJD,
Chop
the
Top.
legend.
Very
The
nice.
legend.
Oh, number 3 for you, Dread.
Yeah, that was it. RJD.
Oh,
right
you both.
here.
That's right. You both got it right. Okay, good, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Here's my surprising number 3 pick.
Well, let's see how you're going to soil this one.
Hey, I've already shit my pants, right? What's a little bit more? Here it comes. Allison Krauss.
Wow.
Allison
Interesting.
Krauss, the bluegrass singer.
Yeah.
She has a great solo career. She also sings with Union Station.
Robert Plant.
Yeah, Robert Plant. She's doing like her 3rd album, I think, with Robert Plant.
I think so.
Yeah. I find her voice to be one of the prettiest in all of music. There's this Appalachian warble that is clear and ringing over the music. I like bluegrass. I grew up listening to it. And I see you're shaking your head there, Dread. That's too bad you're wrong.
What? I didn't do anything.
Yeah. I was like, look at that look of disgust, like, you, how dare you?
Allison Krauss above
How
Bruce.
dare you follow the assignment and pick someone outside of the metal genre?
I was
like
just
a
looking her
normal
up.
human being?
Just looking her up on Google.
Yeah, I would love to have Allison Krauss on the show. Yeah, she's been around for decades, and her voice is like clarion beautiful,
She does have a
and just
beautiful
because
voice.
just rings this high register over this like I said, this Appalachian warble that I think follows hard in the line of like Dolly Parton, those kinds of vocals who almost made my list. I want to say Dolly Parton. So yeah, Allison Krauss, she's just lovely, and I can listen to her all day. There's my
Cool.
number 3.
Hmm.
Not metal at all. Down to top 2, Chop.
Okay, number 2, Glenn Hughes. For me, he's
Oh.
named the voice of rock for a reason. He's in his 70s. He sounds just as fucking strong and great as he did back when he was with Trapeze in the late 60s and 70s before he went to Purple. And of course, he had Black Country Communion with, a bunch of Joe Bonamassa and others, which I love their albums. Now he's with the Dead Daisies, and his solo stuff is wailing too. He did 7 Star with Tony Iommi, Black Sabbath. Love that album. Just something about his voice just transcends it. It's Goosebump 1. Anytime, the emotion, the power, and he still, like I said, belts it out today. Sounds just incredible for his age. And that's a hard thing to do. We talked about that before, how singers, they age, and sometimes the voice really goes. His has not changed at all. He can still bring it. So Glenn Hughes.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. Really good stuff there.
Nice.
Good. That's a good pick
Nice.
there, Chop.
Interesting pick.
Yeah. Okay. Dreadbull number 2.
All right. Yeah. 2 and 1 for me were a tough one to parse out. But yeah, I'm going to go 2 for me. As far as metal frontmen go, it's Bruce Dickinson. He has no equal. I mean, he is the ultimate frontman. You know, his energy, his presence, his performances, it's all huge. You know, you talk about BDE, Big Dick Energy. It should be named BDE Bruce Dickinson Energy. No one can match him.
No, his energy is unparalleled.
This guy accomplishes more in a day than we do in a year. You know, he is. I mean, I could spend an hour listing his contribution. You mentioned some of his. You know, airline pilot. You know, he's public. You know, he does these speaking engagements. He's like history buff.
World class fencer.
World class fencer. I don't know.
Doesn't he have a PhD? Or something? Yeah, I think he has an advanced degree.
Yeah,
in history or something.
I mean, I read his book and I was exhausted reading it. Like this, he just never even considers how tiring something might be. He just does it. Like he just, you know, when he was flying, he'd just fly to here, and then 2 days later I'm flying there, and then I'm flying here the next morning, and it was exhausting just reading the book of the guy is a nonstop bag of energy.
I gotta read his book yet, Dread.
Really interesting.
Cool.
Really good book. So yeah.
He's got like the nervous energy of my mom, who can't sit still for more than
can't
2
stop.
minutes. Right. If my mom were a metal singer, she'd be Bruce Dickinson. She'd be like cleaning the stage afterwards, like, oh, I gotta clean the stage. Let me help sweep up the floor. Hold on. We gotta go talk to these kids in the hospital. You know.
Well, another thing to talk about Bruce, guys, is I don't recall ever a frontman that controls an audience like he does. He just has total, complete control, no matter where they play, what venue.
Yeah,
he's just incredible. I can't recall another frontman that really has that total.
He's a phenomenal frontman. I mean, Paul Stanley's up there as far as good frontman.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
But that's on a different level stratospherically as far as entertainment value goes. But yes, Bruce Dickinson, hands down. I mean, he's just reaching out to that back of the audience. His mannerisms are huge, his BDE, so that people can see him. Yeah, and he sings to that back of the crowd. And I mean, I can't tell the number of times we've seen Maiden live or Bruce live. I've seen him twice on a solo tour, 3 times on solo tour. Okay. The last time we actually got to meet him and talk to him. So, you know, very.
Even then he commands the room, you know.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Everybody's kind of sitting back timid. He's like, come on. Let me sign your shit. You know, like, you know.
Right.
That was after he just put on a freaking nearly 2-hour show. I don't know how long they played that night, but
it was good. It was a good long
set.
They're
hanging out, signing everything. Like, the guy is inspiring. He's really, one of the most amazing, just all around vocalist, and just everything he does. He's amazing human being.
All right, excellent, good pick. That was your number 2 there, Dread?
Yep.
Okay, my number 2. Again, it's going to be another one that you're going to say, ugh. But I think she has the most beautiful voice in music. Just hands down. And there are a lot of great vocalists. I wanted
Adele.
No, Katie Lange.
Really?
Yes. I've been a fan of Katie Lange's ever since I heard Constant Craving on her album Ingenue. And I just fell in love with this voice that was so calm and just such wonderful, warm vibrato, and these ability to hit these high notes effortlessly and talk about emotion, just to pull it out of you. Like she sang when the Olympics were held in Canada. I don't know, God, back in the 90s, early 2000s, maybe early 2000s, I think. She sang for the closing ceremonies and sang, Hallelujah, just a cappella. I get my goosebumps right now because that song is one enough to make you weep anyway. It's so beautiful. Yeah. And her vocal rendition, I mean, I know I was just sobbing like, and I just love her voice. I just a huge fan, would love to have Ms. Lange on our show sometime. But yeah, Katie Lange, just there's a quality to her voice that is pure and clarion in a way that is haunting and beautiful. And again, it's the emotional connection that I feel with her music. Right. And a couple of her albums are really great. The album called Drag which is all these songs. I think it's that one, or Smoke. It's one about all the songs are about smoking, which I think is great. And she's done some wonderful duets with Tony Bennett and other albums that are wonderful too. So yeah, Katie Lang, number 2 for me.
Interesting. Really cool.
Wow.
I know. Oh, and
It's
now
an
we are.
interesting list for all of us.
I
It's
know.
really
I
cool.
think so. And now we are down to our number 1. Who's
Oh,
gonna
oh.
be number 1? This is good. Chop Top. Who is your number 1 vocalist of all time?
For me, again, it goes by, it's personal, and it's the way his music moves me, and all the different incarnations of bands he's been in. Paul Rodgers,
Oh,
singer for Free, Bad Company, The Firm, the solo
Yeah.
stuff. Even had that stint
Hmm.
with Queen, which did a wonderful job
yeah.
on that live tour with them. And I just, it's stuff from anything. I mean, Simple Man to Bad Co, the title track. Can't Get Enough. I mean, I'm a huge Bad Company fan too. But then you go to The Firm, and you have that super group and 2 phenomenal albums. Satisfaction Guaranteed, Money Can't Buy, and All the King's Horses. Live in Peace. I mean,
hmm
I can't say enough about it. I mean, I can listen to Paul Rodgers anytime.
Yeah, All the King's Horses is a great song.
Yes.
hmm
So yeah, very interesting. I know probably people are like, wow, Paul Rodgers, but yeah,
Yeah, it's a
It's just
surprising
something-
pick. I mean, it's a good
It
pick.
is.
He's great, but it's a surprising pick, but I like it.
and he's
Interesting.
another one. He's another one that he's in his 70s as well, and he still sounds just as good as he did back.
Yeah,
in
the stuff he did with Queen a couple years ago was just unbelievable.
Wasn't it?
It's just like, yeah. And I'm glad Adam Lambert's with Queen now, because
Right,
he's actually on
right.
my honorable mention list was Adam Lambert, because he's got
Yeah,
amazing voices. But
Great replacement.
yeah, so that's an interesting pick there, Chop. All right.
Very interesting.
All right, Dread, your number 1 vocalist of all time.
So yeah, I think I got to go with Jeff Tate here for me. As far as pure vocalist, I know Bruce as a front man is an all-time front man, but when it comes to just pure vocalists, I gotta give my number 1 vote to Jeff. He might not be the front man to have the BDE like Bruce does,
hmm
but what he does have, I think, is the best vocals of anyone in the business. Particularly in his early years where he had more range,
hmm
but he still sings. He's always sung with that passion that we talk about,
Yeah.
the emotion, and
Sure.
he can draw it out of you. And
You hear it like in songs like Rhythm of Hope. Boy, it just it's just a beautiful, beautiful song there.
it's almost like it's almost like watching a really good actor. There's like subtle nuances that really make a performance great. It's not overacting that makes an actor good. It's the subtlety of what they do.
Right.
And I think Jeff has so many little subtle nuances in his singing
Mhm.
approach that really is what makes it great. On top of the range, like he has everything
Mhm.
that you could ever
Oh,
want
yeah.
in a singer.
Yeah.
And he
There's-
just puts it all together so
Mhm.
beautifully.
Right.
One of the most memorable later day shows of Queensryche was me and Montag. We saw the American Soldier tour.
Mhm.
Oh my
And
God,
what was so
that
cool
album,
about that, he did that whole, he did like that trilogy, different songs from Rage for Order, Empire, and Operation. And man, he performed that flawless. It sounded fantastic.
Yeah.
We were right at the
Yeah.
soundboard too, Montag, on that one.
Right.
So that was
Yeah.
great.
And when he's singing some of the songs for American Soldier, everyone was crying. Like when it Coming Home,
Yeah.
Balls.
everyone was
Oh,
just
yeah.
fucking sobbing. And when Joe and I, or excuse me, Chop and I looked at each other and we're like,
I'm are you all
let's
right,
just
buddy?
hope he
He's
doesn't
like,
sing that song. And then he brings his daughter out to sing it with him. Like we're like,
Oh, that's right.
we
Oh,
were
there
just a
you go. You
mess.
crushed my heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so moving, those songs.
Yeah.
And
I've never
like,
not cried listening to that album.
yeah.
Every single time. It's
Yeah.
I've never not teared up.
Oh, it is an emotional.
Yeah.
It takes a toll on you emotionally and
Yeah.
listening to it. So, right. So yeah, Jeff Tate, he can't argue with that, man. I mean, he was up there
No.
too. It was a struggle. Like, where
Yeah.
do I put him? Because
Mhm.
I hear those songs, and then his voice is so warm on some songs like Silent Lucidity, and I
Mhm.
hear the emotion like and Della Brown.
Yeah.
I,
Another
that
rainy
Emp-
night. Yeah. Some
yeah,
of those more
that Empire
bluesy-
album is
Mhm.
it's so different than Operation Mindcrime.
Yeah.
What an interesting follow, but it's like so beautiful. I mean, it's
It
just
really
a
is.
luscious album. But
Mhm.
yeah, his voice, he just has the range and the power
Mhm.
from hearing Queen of the Reich or Take Hold of the Flame all the way to Della Brown or, anything. His range is amazing. So yeah, I can't argue with that pick there, Dreadbull. All right. My number
Drum
one.
roll.
Don't let us down.
No, I won't. I think I'm going to make up. I'm going to make up for my number 8 here. Ronnie James Dio for me. Dio. As far as emotion, and I remember the very first song I heard from them that I knew was him was Rainbow in the Dark, and just felt that power and those guitar riffs. And I was like, what on earth? And then I heard, I hadn't listened to the Black Sabbath stuff, but then when I watched heavy metal and I heard Mob Rules, I didn't know it was the same singer, and there's like this amazing big power. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about him. So, I mean, Dio for me is everything in a rock musician, vocalist that you could want. And hands down, I'm sure he, Elf wasn't metal, but
Right.
he could sing anything. He could sing blues. He could sing metal. He could sing anything. At all.
Multifaceted for sure.
Yeah. So it's not a surprise that some of these singers are on our list that we all love. And just there are times where I'll hear him, and especially like when I'll watch people's reactions, like music reaction videos. I think it was who was it? What's her face? Oh,
The charismatic voice.
Charismatic Voice. Thank you. Yeah, and she loves Dio. So
Yeah,
much.
she's become a real big fan of
Big
Dio.
fan. And there are times where I see her face respond and light up, and there are times where I just want to cry because I know that feeling. Yes, that was how I felt, like, oh, this amazing voice. So and I still miss him terribly. In this world.
There's a void that's never ever since.
Yeah, exactly. It's just not going to be replaced. And
I wish I could have had a chance to just meet that guy and
just to say thank you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. You just want that moment to say, and he's heard it a million times, but I think every time is special for him to hear that, how much a fan likes his music. I mean, so, but there's our top 10. I if we have any honorable mentions, I think we should mention them now honorably. Because my list of 20 some singers had to be cut down severely. Chop Top, go ahead. Let's hear some of your honorable mentions.
Couple that I'm going to throw out there. Number one, Chris Cornell. There's another voice of an angel. I mean, can absolutely adapt any style and sing anything. And I'm very surprised I didn't put it. I had such a hard time, guys, just like with you.
Yeah.
But I mean, from his Soundgarden stuff, Audio Slave, I mean, my God, Like a Stone makes me want to weep. And just even his solo stuff. And to cover songs, like Nothing Compares to You and Billie Jean, he did cover, I mean, and it's all acoustic and he transcends it. So yeah, Chris Cornell was fantastic. And another one, an honorable mention, be surprising kind of people, but Blackie Lawless.
He was on my initial list.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
I gotta say, even here's a guy who can, rip it up, and Blind in Texas and everything else, the songs we all know and love. But then the ballads are so moving and a hell of a melodic singer when it comes out, and he really draws at the heartstrings on some of those slower songs.
And his voice is distinctive. It would not be Wasp without him singing. That's what I think I like so much about him. It's like you cannot separate Wasp and Blackie Lawless. He's just too identified with that sound,
Right. A third one I'll throw out there is Sabotage, John Oliva. I think the power there in him and the Mountain King himself, and wow, what a legacy, and especially those early albums and everything. Of course, Zach Stevens was a nice replacement, and John's still
very different styles of those two guys.
But boy, that power. I mean, Hall of the Mountain King, that song, Strange Rain.
Yeah, I remember listening to that album a lot in Dreadbull.
Oh my God. Yeah, I listened to that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good times working on D&D stuff. Yeah, right.
But there's a few of mine, guys. So
yeah, I considered him. I considered like Matt Barlow from Ice to Earth. Love that guy. I considered Ripper Owens, but I'm like, he's so close to Halford. You got to go Halford and then Ripper. Like they're almost one and the same. But I think there are certain things that Ripper does that I kind of like a little more.
His voice is lower in the register, like Matt Barlow. He got that low end. in a way that kind of warms the voice, but he can still hit those high notes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then odd ones I mentioned on yours just as a joke, but like Adele, I love her voice.
Yeah.
I think
it's gorgeous.
absolutely phenomenal.
Fantastic voice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And her music is very moving to me.
Sure.
You know,
Her first album, the one album is great. I
Mhm.
haven't listened to anything off the new one, but yeah. So
Mhm.
those are good picks too. Some of mine, Ann Wilson from Heart.
oh
You
yeah,
know,
geez.
I mean, Barracuda.
Totally forgot about her.
I know
Yeah.
it's like, and if you've seen her when they did the Kennedy Center honors for Led
Oh my
Zeppelin, when
God.
they heard them
Talk
singing
about
the
moving.
Stairway to Heaven, the live performance. I don't know if you've ever seen that, Dreadbull.
Yes.
No, I don't
watched
think
it
so.
Oh,
multiple
after we're
times.
done, go on there. Be
Okay.
prepared to cry. You're gonna
Oh,
bawl your eyes
wow.
out. It is
Okay.
it is so moving, and I'm not a Led Zeppelin fan, but I'm just still so moved by this performance. It's just unbelievable.
Wow.
I was like, you watch it, and you're just gonna cry.
Awesome.
It was breathtaking. I would bring
I'd
along.
say 100 views on it alone came
Yeah,
from me.
yeah, bring along Mrs.
Wow.
Dreadbull. I think you're both gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
And that was which performance? That was at
It's live, Kennedy Center's
Kennedy
live.
Honors?
Just do
Yeah.
Heart.
Heart
Stairway to
Stairway
Heaven live.
Okay,
Yeah, I think it's the
Okay.
Kennedy Center honors. I think
Yeah.
they were being honored. Led Zeppelin was being honored.
gotcha. Okay.
A couple other ones. Ian Gillan, the singer for
Oh yeah,
Purple.
Jethro Tull. Oh,
Yeah.
Ian Gillan. Ian. I was thinking Ian.
Anderson.
Anderson.
Yeah. Ian Gillan. He sang for Deep Purple. He sang for
Gotcha.
Black Sabbath on the Born Again album. I mean, he's singing on some of those MK2 Deep Purple albums. Again, powerful, bluesy. He sang on the Perfect Strangers album. You can't
Right.
hear. That's the
Fantastic.
voice of Deep Purple for me. A
Agreed.
surprising pick, Boy George.
Really?
I think his vocals are really great. And again, it's not so much the emotional content for him. I think he has a beautiful voice, but again, it's the idea of time and place. You cannot separate Culture Club's music without his voice. Like, do you want to really hurt me, or do you really want to hurt me? I think it's a beautiful song. Again, it's just, you can't separate his voice from that music. Going into the classical world, Pavarotti, opera. I mean, his
Wow.
voice is just, again, if you want to bring you to tears, just listen to some Pavarotti. He's just again, outstanding and amazing. In the last couple, Miles Kennedy was a hard one to now bring in. I listened to stuff that he did with Alter Bridge and Blackbird. It just make you weep. And then Adam Lambert, I had talked before, especially when he was on American Idol. Some of the songs, his version of Ring of Fire, I thought was just haunting and amazing. And then Freddie Mercury, how do you
God.
not
I
have
don't
Freddie
know
Mercury
how
on
I-
this list?
I know, man.
I know. It's like
After I finished my list, I'm like, how did I forget Freddie? Right before the
Right.
show
Yeah.
we got on, I'm like, I forgot Freddie
Right.
Mercury. Yeah, but
exactly. And
He
it's like,
he should absolutely be on this list.
yeah. And it was,
Be honest.
I know. It's like, it's just an amazing, you cannot separate
Well,
the voice
Montag,
from the sound.
Freddie should have been, maybe number 8, and Bruce could have been higher.
But who's gonna?
We're not
who's-
letting it go. No.
Who would you take off the list? Right.
Who could
Again,
be?
this
Right.
this is the
This
top
was so
10.
difficult.
It is difficult. A top 20 would have been comfortable for us all.
I think
You
so.
know,
probably.
yeah, a lot more comfortable. Even Dread might have come in and actually did the rules right and picked other genres.
Oh, Mr. Rules. Oh, I thought we were metal fans.
Yeah,
Shit about rules. We're
I'm a
metal
rebel. Fuck you guys.
that's right. That's right.
Oh,
I got rule breaking energy. RBE.
RBE.
RB. Take
I'm a
that,
Rebbe.
wild card.
I'm a rock and roll ribby.
Oh man, yes. This
Oh,
is a good list,
great.
guys. This was really, really good.
Really interesting.
So much variety. A lot of song or artists that were really surprises to me from both of you, but then again, we all had this common. I knew we were all gonna have Bruce Dickinson, Dio, Jeff Tate, Rob Halford. I knew we were all gonna have those four. It was
Yeah.
like
Yeah, those four are
it's you can't escape.
can't not be.
Can't,
right?
exactly. You can't not.
Well,
But-
they're part of our formation, our identities and
Yeah.
stuff, and how we got into metal to begin with, and
Yeah.
just music in general too. So yeah, that's why they're
Right.
so powerful and still stand atop the
They're
time.
kind
Yeah.
of foundational singers too. They
Yeah.
just sort of
Mhm,
set the standard for a lot of other
mhm.
a lot of
Agreed.
singers to follow.
Yeah. And had we pushed that list to 20, I might have even thrown Bono in there. I love the
Hmm.
early U2. The first 3 albums I think are phenomenal.
Agreed.
And there's that raw quality, like in Boy. I just really love that album. Bono, if you're out there, you want to come on our show, we'd love to have you. You might, who knows? But yeah, this is a good list, gentlemen. This was really, really, really good. Oh, Impossible, top vocalist of all time. Anything anyone want to say before we get out of here?
No, just Bruce should have been higher on your list. But
I mean, that was a real
Yeah.
disappointment.
When he comes on, he's going to
Really
say,
let us
"So
down.
I was number 8 on your list, eh, Montag?"
number 8, huh?
Huh? Yeah,
I'll be talking to these two guys.
that's right.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
be fielding
Yeah.
questions from them only.
Put the other guy on mute. I'll talk to you,
That's
gentlemen.
Yeah.
right.
Put on the dunce cap. You're going to sit there and be quietly listen
Yes.
while the
exactly.
adults speak.
I'll fence you. I'll fence you. The companies. I'll fence you to prove you wrong. You've skewered my reputation. Yeah, I think Bruce. I would like to hear Bruce's top 10 vocalist
Oh,
list.
that'd be
that would
fantastic.
be
Ooh.
awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to do. What his vocalists are. So, hey, you can find Heavy Metal Horror on unsaneradio.com. Listen to full episodes or download to your device. You can find us on Facebook, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. On Instagram, look for Montag Lewis, one word. And you are on our YouTube page, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. We're there too. Don't forget the subscribe button. And if you know someone who'd like our show, tell them about us. This has been Montag, Master of Illusion.
Chop top.
Dreadbull.
You've been watching and listening to Heavy Metal
Top 10 list.
Horror.
This is Doug Helvering, and you have been listening to Heavy Metal Horror, the best podcast that you've never heard before.